And look at this. Guess who's got lane choice? Scott Geoffrion, obviously. He wants to be in the lane where Darrell just won the race. We'll be right back. The reigning Winston champion in Top Fuel Eliminator, Eddie Hill, with a wave for our cameras. He is autographing T-shirts. We'll have a whole lot more on the Eddie Hill story in just a few moments, but right now, back to the starting line, and Mark Cowboy Poway starts spinning the big Goodyears on his pro stock car, the Summit Racing Oldsmobile, as Steve has had a chance to catch up with Darrell Alderman.
That 707 wasn't quite as easy as it looked, was it?
No, it wasn't. You know, the first round we went left real bad. We had 15-inch rims on it. We put 16-inch rims on it, and it really hooked up, raised the front wheels up in second gear there. I knew it was on a heck of a pass.
Did you know that Kurt Johnson calls that pretty Dodge Daytona a Jeep?
Well, you know, I think Scott and I probably have some names for the Oldsmobiles, too.
Just put it in four-wheel drive and go.
That's right.
Well, he's still smiling about it. Call it a Jeep or call it a Dodge. He is in the semifinals. We're on board with Scott Geoffrion as you see him backing into his own track. David Hutchins, the crew chief on Geoffrion's car, watching as the same activity going on in the opposite lane. Dave Butner, the crew chief, for Mark Poway, directing him into the spot he won. Mark had qualified in the number 8 spot with a 7:12 and beat Mark Osborne in the first round with a 7:15. Geoffrion, the number 1 qualifier at a 7:03, just missing the shot at the 6-second club to be the first driver to do it. He ran a 7:10 in his first round victory. That came at the expense of the number 16 qualifier, Jerry Ekman. Again, Oldsmobile and Dodge here in Houston. The advantage at the starting line, but it didn't help him much. A 7:10, 195-mile-an-hour charge by Scott Geoffrion. That advances him into the semis. Let's take a look at that run once again. Mark Poway got the advantage, but you'd never know it from Scott Geoffrion's position. You're on board in the Flying Dodge. He just crossed the finish line at over 195 miles an hour. Let's go to the far end. Steve is with Scott Geoffrion.
Your partner runs an 07, you run a 10, the Dodges are hooked up.
Yeah, it sounds like his little Dodge is hooked up a little better than my little Dodge. But, you know, these guys from Wayne County, it's just every run, it's just, you know, who gets it down the track a little bit better, that's who's going to run a little quicker, because there's so much parity between these two cars in the Wayne County camp, it's immeasurable.
For the fans, a great Final Four coming up.
I'm not sure who's in the Final Four, but it might be the same guys, is it?
It is.
Well, it's going to be fun. It always is.
Okay, thanks, Scott.
Steve, I think you're getting just a bit anxious. 3 of the 4 of the semifinalists are the same drivers that have been in the semis for the last 2 consecutive races. But there is possibly a spoiler for this man. Warren Johnson qualified in the number 3 spot. He won his first round race over Steve Schmidt with a 7:10. That gives him lane choice over the surprising Jim Yates, who had qualified in the number 6 spot at a 7:11, beat David Rampey with an identical time, 7:11 in the first round. There are many who regard Yates as the one person with the opportunity to jump into that group, the very elite group of the Dodges and the Johnsons. Both drivers sitting in the pre-stage beams. Now, who's going to go in first? Johnson likes to stage last. It is Jim Yates rolling in. He's set. Here comes Warren. Yates in the Dynamax Pontiac got a slight advantage at the starting line, but WJ's GM Performance Parts Oldsmobile had the power. The winning time for Warren Johnson, a 7:11 at 195 miles an hour. As we watch again in replay, keep that number in mind, just a fraction of a second slower than either one of the Dodges that are in the semifinals. Boy, Yates gave him more than he expected, though. As they approached the finish line, the Oldsmobile was just barely able to pull ahead. and it was about a fender length margin of victory. In time, 22 thousandths of a second, the margin for Warren Johnson. That sets up the semis. Scott Geoffrion in the Dodge against Kurt Johnson in the Oldsmobile. Scott has the lane choice for Warren Johnson and Darrell Alderman. The answer there, Darrell holding the choice of lanes. Steve?
A nice 11, but it's going to cost you lane choice. Kurt doesn't have it either.
Well, we're in the semifinals. That's all that matters. You can't win a race until you get one round at a time.
Been a lot of lane jockeying going on back there, though.
Yeah, there's been some oil downs out there and whatnot going on. So, you know, you just take a shot at it, what you feel is the best lane. Sometimes it is, but unfortunately, sometimes it isn't.
Get psyched up.
We're ready.
Warren Johnson heads into the final four in Pro Stock Eliminator, and in just a moment, we'll show you why Joe Amato is lucky to be in round number 2. At Houston Raceway Park, Scott Geoffrion now signing the autograph. He's getting himself mentally prepared to race Kurt Johnson in the semifinals of Pro Stock. That's going to be coming up just a little bit later on. While right now we get ready to go with Top Fuel Eliminator round number 2, and Connie Coletta comes to the starting line. His opponent in round number 2, Mike Dunn at the wheel of Darrell Gwynn's La Victoria Salsa. McGuire's Wax's Hendry. For Connie Coletta, this has been quite a season. He and his son Scott have teamed up for American International Airways, the company that Connie owns, to field a couple of the best top fuel registers this sport's ever seen. It takes more than just the driver to make these cars run, and Connie has got one of the best crew chiefs in the business in Tim Richards, the guy that wrenched Joe Amato to 4.5, if you will, Winston championships. He left in the middle of the season of Joe's 5th championship win. Mike Dunn qualified in the number 10 spot with a 4.85 elapsed time, and his first round opponent, the reigning Winston champion, Eddie Hill. Hill had lots of problems. It was not until the last 2 qualifying efforts that he even made the show, ending up number 7 at a 4.81. Had great hopes in the first round as we rode on board, and there you saw Mike Dunn blast away for the win. His elapsed time was a 4.91. Eddie Hill went up in smoke. Coletta qualified number 2. His time, the quickest ever in his long career, a 4.77. He defeated Jim Head in the first round to earn the right to race Mike Dunn. Giant wheel stand for Coletta. Dunn has some engine problems, and Connie wins it at a 4.80, 2.98. Let's go down to the starting line and Bob Fry.
We having fun now?
This is, it's a lot of fun working for Connie. I mean, win or lose, he makes it enjoyable. I mean, I don't know when I've been as happy working in a fuel team.
Looks like these guys might be on a collision course, father and son.
I hope they are.
Not only is it fun for Tim Richards, but it's fun for us to watch when Connie pulls gyrations like this. Look how high the front end gets. And Connie, the veteran that won his first race back in 1967, has no intention of lifting at all. Down at the far end, here's Steve.
You flew this thing like an airplane the first few hundred feet.
It was up there, and then it walked out of the groove on top of it, which wasn't very nasty. Was sort of nasty.
Wishing you could put the flaps down.
Well, the front wing we got on the car helps it quite a bit. It'll pull it right down.
Happy with the 480?
Yeah. Now Tim knows where he's at.
If Scott wins, guess what? Father and son go head to head.
And you don't think there's any rivalry there, do you?